Hi, everyone. Welcome to Enjoy English. I'm Steven.
大家好，我是 Bernice。
Today's date is June the 4th, and we're going to continue looking at pages 12 to 14 under Good Eats.
我们今天进入到美食飨宴第2天的课程。
Love it or hate it, your body may decide.
讲的是一把香菜两种世界，因为我们在 Day 1的时候知道呢，这个香菜呢确实充满了很多健康的好处，可是真的你喜欢它吗
Cilantro, friend or foe?
对啊，所以他就讲香菜到底是你的朋友还是你的敌人呢
It's my friend. Is it your friend or your foe?
Sometimes， 因为呢女生呢，尤其像我们这种爱美白的，听说香菜吃多了会变黑，所以我自从听说了这个之后，我就少吃，但是偶尔还是会吃啦。
I know a lot of people who consider cilantro to be their foe, but today's lesson will learn why.
对，我们知道为什么他会把它当成敌人呢？
Love it or hate it, your body may decide. Although cilantro has many benefits, not everyone loves it. While some people find its taste fresh and lemony, others have a strong negative reaction to it. For these people, cilantro may taste like soap and have a bug-like odor. This unusual flavor comes from natural compounds called aldehydes that are present in the plant's leaves. Why do people react to the same herb so differently? According to scientific studies, the answer lies in a specific group of genes that make people more sensitive to aldehydes. Those who carry these genes are more likely to detect the soapy smell and flavor of aldehydes in cilantro. This suggests that cilantro dislike may be linked to genetic differences rather than personal choice. Luckily, taste is not fixed like height or eye color, and it can change over time. For people who dislike its flavor but still want to enjoy cilantro's health benefits, experts suggest crushing cilantro leaves, which can help break down the aldehydes. Cooking cilantro, or mixing it with stronger flavors, may also make it more tolerable. Whether people enjoy it or avoid it, cilantro proves that taste can vary widely from person to person.
Although cilantro has many benefits, not everyone loves it.
对呀，你看他第一句马上就告诉你，虽然这个香菜充满了这么多的好处，但是呢，也不是每一个人都喜欢它的。
I do like how this paragraph starts out because one, if you didn't tune into yesterday's lesson, it kind of uses like a way to let everyone know cilantro has benefits, okay? But not everyone loves it. So it kind of is a really good segue from yesterday's lesson, but it can also be a standalone lesson by itself. While some people find its taste fresh and lemony, others have a strong negative reaction to it.
他第二句就更加清楚的去说明了，因为第一句就讲了嘛，它有很多的好处，可是不是每个人都喜欢它啊，所以他这边讲说，虽然真的有一些人呢觉得说，哎，这个东西尝起来呢，我觉得香菜其实蛮清爽的啊，因为我们刚刚第一堂课我们讲过说，哦，它吃起来呢，你这些比如嘴巴里面一些浓郁啊、油的这个味道，可以被它吃完香菜之后，你就觉得哦，有点清爽的感觉，甚至他觉得带有一种柠檬的清香。可是呢，还是有一些人呢，然而还是有一些人觉得说，哦，其实呢，香菜里面有一种 negative， 他觉得有一种比较负面，他觉得吃起来有点强烈的这样的一种感觉 reaction， 就是对他的这样的一个反应，其实是比较强的抵触。
And the grammar is have a reaction to something. Okay, so here we just have strong negative, these two words to describe what kind of reaction. Okay, so I have a very good reaction to Bernice 老师 compliments. Okay, so whenever she compliments me, I have really good reactions to it.
就它的反应会比较强烈一点。
Yeah, and also here, I just think this word is very cute because we know lemon means 柠檬, right? And then the adjective can be lemony.
对呀，念起来也好可爱。
Exactly. For these people, cilantro may taste like soap and have a bug-like odor.
有这么样的强烈吗？所以他就说了，对于这些人来讲，也就是说，刚才我们讲的说，有些人对于香菜有一个强烈的抵触的这些人来说啦，他们觉得香菜呢吃起来感觉好像在吃肥皂的感觉。我是没有吃过肥皂啦，而且呢，闻起来又有一种虫子的味道，这个 odor 这个字要特别念对，它只有一个 r， 所以你不要念成 order， 那是不一样的 order， 那是不一样的一个字啊。这个 odor 通常是不是很好的一个味道了啊，而且像虫子的味道。
So if you tuned into our lesson yesterday, I mentioned the word aroma, which is usually a pleasant, distinctive smell. This is the opposite. This is usually a negative smell that's very distinctive. And then here we see the word bug-like. We know the word bug is a noun for 虫.
Yeah.
If you put a hyphen like after a noun, usually we're saying 相似什么.
对.
Okay, 相似虫的一个臭味.
没错.
Okay, so this is something that we'll see in other lessons as well. But I think it's commonly used, and it's something to pay attention to. A noun with a hyphen like is 相似什么东西. Okay, and also the beginning of the sentence, for these people, we're talking about the kind of people we were mentioning in the previous sentence. So that's why we have for these people. Okay. This unusual flavor comes from natural compounds called aldehydes that are present in the plant's leaves.
好，为什么这个香菜吃起来像肥皂，闻起来又像虫子呢？他说，其实呢，你对于刚才这样子的一种不寻常的 flavor， 就是你的主词，就是这些不寻常的这个味道，它主要 comes from 来自于什么样的地方呢？是一种很天然的 compounds， 就是一种化合物。它的中文呢称之为醛类，像甲醛、乙醛那个醛类啊。而且这个醛类呢，刚好它就是present 就是呈现出现在一些所谓的香菜的这个叶片，就是它的叶片里面本身就有这样的一个天然化合物，所以呢，你会觉得这个味道有点不太寻常。
So here we see the grammar be present in the plant's leaves. That means that they're physically there. Okay, they exist in the plant's leaves. And then pay attention to this word present. Okay. Here is being used as an adjective, 就是有存在着, okay? If it's being used as a verb, like to present something, that is pronounced present, okay? Here it's present, okay? Be present in the plant's leaves. The opposite of present is absent, okay? A-B-S-E-N-T, absent. 缺席的, okay? Also the word unusual, 很奇怪的. And usually when we say this word in English, we kind of prolong the second U to make it sound really like unusual, okay?
带有一种不寻常的感觉。
Yeah, he's very unusual, okay? Or that thing is very unusual. I rarely hear it said unusual.
对，就是会把 U 拉长一点。
Yeah, that's just something to pay attention to because a lot of times when I hear my students read, they'll read every word with the same length. But actually, a lot of words, we naturally just prolong it a little bit longer to kind of bring out the character of that word. So once you know that exists, you'll pay attention to it when you hear other teachers or other people say these words. Try to mimic those sounds because then it'll make your English a lot more natural when you say it or when you read it out loud. I think that's something that's very important to learning a language. It's not just, can I pronounce this word, but it's also, how do I pronounce this word that people, when they listen to it, when they hear it, they know exactly what I'm trying to say, and they'll capture the essence of that word.
没错啦，也就是说呢，你有时候在念英文，任何一个语言都是这样子。有一些呢，你想要强调，或者是特别让对方能够了解你所要讲的重点的那些字，你要稍微的 pause 一下啦，或者你要可能把它拉一点长音啦，而不是每一个字念起来都一样的长度。
Exactly. Let's take a short break.
好的。
Why do people react to the same herb so differently?
第二段他就告诉你了，有些人觉得香菜哇很不错呀，吃下来有种清爽的像柠檬的那个感觉。可是为什么又有一些人觉得，怎么闻起来像虫子的味道，吃起来跟肥皂一样，哇，简直天差地远啊！所以他第二段呢一开始就说了，为什么呢？人们 react to something， 就是你对于什么东西你产生这样的一个反应。为什么你的反应呢？对于同样的 herb 啊，就是我们都是在吃香菜或者是闻香菜啊，可是却这么样的 differently。我们来用副词来形容你前面那个 react to 这个片语，所以你要用副词修饰动词。
Yeah, so I like how this paragraph starts out with a question. This is a good technique to get people who are reading the article to be like, yeah, why do people react differently to it? And then they'll be curious and they'll continue reading on. This technique is good. It's not something that I recommend using all the time, but every once in a while, it's quite effective to have a question, okay? Also, we see the verb form of, earlier we had have a strong negative reaction to something, right? Here we have the verb form, react to the same herb. If I wanted to use the same from before, when I use the word reaction, I would say, why do people have a reaction to the same herb so differently? Or why do people have different reactions to the same herb? Okay, so there are a lot of different ways to compose sentences. It just depends on if you want to use the noun form or the verb form, but just pay attention to the grammar that follows with it, okay? According to scientific studies, the answer lies in a specific group of genes that make people more sensitive to aldehydes.
哦，原来就是你的 DNA 影响的。好的，所以他就当然我们讲这个东西要有根据的啊，对不对？好，所以他就说根据呢科学上面的这个研究啦，这个答案就是为什么大家对于香菜的这个反应会这么样的不一样呢？答案呢，其实 lies in， 我们知道这个 lies in 就是存在在什么地方，就在这个地方。其实它主要呢，就是在一个很特别的一个族群里面。那这个族群里面呢，是什么样的族群呢？是基因，就是我们讲的 DNA 嘛。每个人的基因都不一样啦，所以呢，因为你的基因的这个里面的一个特定的族群有一组，好，这个基因不太一样。那就是这些基因呢，使得人们呢会对于这种醛类的东西呢会 more sensitive to。我们知道 be sensitive to 就是对什么东西来的敏感，加了 more 就是更敏感。
Yes. So here we see the answer lies in a specific group of genes. Lies. Doesn't that mean 骗人？
不是伤害人、说谎那个意思。
Okay, yeah, it's just the same word, but it has a different meaning. Here it's kind of like 躺着在这个里面, but it's not really 躺着. It just means to exist within a specific group of genes. Okay, so just pay attention to that verb lie. Okay, sometimes we'll use the answer lies within. Okay, 答案就在你的心中。
对，
有的时候就有这个用法. It's quite interesting, okay? But it can be confusing for people who are trying to learn English.
Yeah, 没错。
Okay. Those who carry these genes are more likely to detect the soapy smell and flavor of aldehydes in cilantro.
Those 就 those people 啦，也就是那一些我们刚才讲说，因为他身体里面的一组特定的这个基因，使得他对这个醛类很敏感的这一些人。那这些人呢，因为他们呢就是本身携带的这些的基因，所以呢，这些人 are more likely to 就比较更有可能会怎么样呢？他会察觉到这个里面的 soapy smell， 就是我们刚刚讲了嘛，怎么吃起来有点吃起来像肥皂的味道呢？甚至呢，你也会对于它里面那个醛类里面的这样的一个 flavor 啊，它的这样的一个味道呢，你会觉得呢，在香菜里面你会特别的察觉得到，就是因为呢，他们的基因影响，比如说他们的鼻子可能特别的敏感，或他们的味觉可能很敏感，所以当他一吃到或一闻到的时候，他就觉得有点肥皂味。
Yeah, so here we see the word carry these genes, okay? A lot of times when we're talking about 你有这些基因, we'll use the verb carry, okay? I carry this gene, okay? I carry the gene that causes me to think that cilantro tastes like soap, okay? And then here also we see the word soapy. This kind of reminds me of that word we saw earlier in the first paragraph, lemony.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we take the noun, we just add a y, and it becomes the adjective. Not all the time, but you'll see it happen. So soapy smell 就是有肥皂的味道。
没错。
Okay. And it kind of makes me wonder, like, maybe I have this gene, but I just like the taste of soap.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because like a lot of people are like, oh, it tastes like soap. It tastes like, I don't like the taste. But maybe some people like the taste of soap.
对啊，也搞不好有人他虽然有这个基因，可他就是喜欢肥皂的味道啊。
Exactly. I'm very curious about that. Okay. All right. Let's take a short break.
好的。
This suggests that cilantro dislike may be linked to genetic differences rather than personal choice.
好，这边的 this 就是指刚才上面讲的，根据研究说的是因为人的基因的影响。啊，所以你会对于香菜，有的人觉得怎么很好吃，有的人觉得很好，有的人觉得不 OK， 有点像肥皂的味道。所以他说这样的一个研究呢，暗示出这样的一件事情，什么事情呢？就是说香菜的 dislike 这边的 dislike 当的是名词哦，就是你不喜欢一样东西的那个感觉，就是你对它不喜欢，你厌恶它，其实很可能呢 be linked to， 我们就知道是表示对于什么样东西是有连接、有关系的，或者是 be related to related 是跟什么有关联，真的是跟你的基因的差异。而不是 rather than 叫而不是因为你个人的 choice， 也就是说不是因为你个人的喜好，我喜欢吃香菜跟我不喜欢，不是这个意思，而是真的跟你的基因有关。
So rather than, you could also say instead of. Okay, this is just another substitute or another choice you can make. Luckily, taste is not fixed like height or eye color.And it can change over time.
对啊，所以有的时候呢，你会发觉你在人生之中的某一个阶段，你可能特别喜欢吃什么，但是到了一个阶段，你就觉得我不喜欢吃这个东西了，就是因为呢，我们人的这样的一个味觉，所以他讲的是 luckily， 就是这个东西是会改变的。很幸运的，我们的味觉呢，其实并不是像我们的。第一个身高，可能你长到一个高度，你基本上就不太会变得太夸张了，或者是你的眼睛的颜色，好，除非你生病嘛，对不对？我的眼睛颜色应该都是这样子。所以他说 taste is not fixed， 所谓 fixed 就是 not changed， 就是它不会改变，不是这个意思哈。而且呢，它是可以随着时间去做更改的。
Yeah, so fixed, another word that you can use here is permanent, okay? Luckily, taste is not permanent, P-E-R-M-A-N-E-N-T, okay? So it's something that can change, and it can change over time. So 就是随着时间会改变 change over time. For people who dislike its flavor but still want to enjoy cilantro's health benefits, experts suggest crushing cilantro leaves, which can help break down the aldehydes.
好啦，那有一些人说，可是我真的呢想要吃吃看香菜，因为刚才老师讲了，还有这么多的好处呢，我想要试试看的话怎么办呢？别担心，接下来我们就告诉你了。对于那些人们呢，如果你是 dislike， 这边的 dislike 就是当动词了，不喜欢。你的主词因为是 people， 所以你的 dislike 用的是原形。对于那些不喜欢吃香菜的这个尤其是它的味道的这些人呢，其实呢，你还是呢 ，but 你仍然想要试试看，我想要享受一下它的健康的好处啊，因为它有这么多的这些营养的成分在里面啊。好了，那专家就建议了，这边的 suggest 就是建议了，因为你的主词是人，对吧？专家就建议呢，有一件事情你可以做，什么叫 crush？ 就是把它捣碎，弄得碎碎的，好。然后你可以把那个香菜的这个叶子先捣碎。那为什么捣碎呢？因为当你捣碎这样的一个动作 ，which 好这样的一个动作呢，可以帮助你把那个香菜里面刚才讲的这个醛类的物质呢，可以 break down， 可以把它分解。
Here we see the word dislike again, but in this sentence, as compared to the first sentence, this sentence is a verb, okay, for people who dislike its flavor. And the first sentence, it was that cilantro dislike. Okay, so you just have to know that sometimes, I know it can be confusing, but you have to pay attention to where these words are in the sentence to know if it's a noun or a verb.
Yeah, 没错。
Okay? Cooking cilantro or mixing it with stronger flavors may also make it more tolerable.
第二个方法呢，这个专家建议就是说，好，如果呢，第一个是可以把它捣碎嘛，第二个呢，你就干脆用烹饪的方式，就是你在煮东西的时候呢，直接烹饪这个香菜，而且里面呢，你还要加一些 mixing it， 就是把它里面混杂东西，用什么东西来混杂呢 ？with 用 stronger flavors， 要比香菜味道更重的东西，你把它跟它混在一起。这个时候呢，你把这个更重的味道的东西跟这个香菜混合呢 ，may also 可能呢，或许也可以让这个香菜的味道呢比较怎么样呢 ？tolerable。我们知道从 tolerate 这个字容忍这个动词来的形容词。比较容易可以接受的，所谓的 tolerable 就是你觉得比较 acceptable， 你可以接受，比较 okay to eat， 对。
Whether people enjoy it or avoid it, cilantro proves that taste can vary widely from person to person.
对啦，最后一句话的结尾写得非常的好，也就是这整篇文章的结论跟我们的主题互相的呼应，就是说呢，无论人们你到底喜欢香菜，还是你避免你不想要吃香菜，不管怎么样，香菜呢，它都证明了一件事情，就是我们的味觉是跟每一个人不一样的。这边的 vary 就是 differ， 它是跟所有的人都不一样的。所以你选择香菜，你要把它当朋友，你就是喜欢吃它；你要把它当敌人也是可以，你不喜欢吃它。你想要在中间 in between 也是 OK 的，就是用刚才我们建议的2种方式。
Yes. And here at the beginning of the sentence is whether people enjoy it or avoid it. When you start with whether, it's gonna show you like 2 different
options.
Okay, whether A or B.
Yeah.
So from now on, because I used to think that people, when they watched me eat cilantro, that they were being very dramatic if they looked at it like disgusted, because some people do feel very disgusted even when they hear the word cilantro. Like the taste is something that makes them have a visceral reaction.
Oh, visceral.
然后我想教的是 visceral reaction. Visceral 是 VISCERAL. And then reaction. Visceral reaction means like 它像那种骨子里的一个，很像它的所有器官都有这个自然的一个反应 ，OK， 很体内出的一个感觉。Yeah, it's a visceral reaction. Some people just automatically like have that face when you talk about cilantro. I can eat it by itself. I love cilantro.
Yeah. 对啊，所以刚才 Stephen 老师讲说，他蛮喜欢吃，我也是觉得，真的吗？因为通常啦，我们很少看到外国人特别喜欢吃香菜。
Oh, I love it. It's so good. All right. So whether or not you like it or you hate it, we hope you enjoyed the lesson. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.